It's your host, Holly, and it's time for a little teaser talk. What is going on, everyone? Happy Teaser Talk Tuesday. I am very thrilled and excited to have, I was saying this actually earlier before we hit record is, there's not very many times, and it's kind of sad, but there's not so many super awesome, badass, very talented women that are on the show because, of course, there's a lot of dudes, which I love those guys, don't get me wrong, but it's always nice and refreshing to have a very talented, badass girl on the show. So I want to say welcome, Beth Vandal from A New
Hey,
Violet. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am super excited. Like I said, yeah, it's just always refreshing to have somebody who has like your vocals are, I don't want to say raw in a bad way, but just raw, pure talent, and there's just passion behind them. So yeah, I just love your energy. I love your sound, and I'm super excited to dive into today's conversation. And for those who haven't had the pleasure of listening to you, do you want to give a quick little intro about yourself so people kind of know about your vibe and where you came from and actually, what got you into this crazy music scene?
Beth Vandal. My band is called A New Violet. I've had several other punk bands. Growing up, I always used to just get on my guitar and start making up songs just for fun. And that's kind of what started me into the whole music thing. But I've been with now Manic Cat Records. They signed us over in 2020, what year was it? 2 years ago. Um, So actually today, it's so weird now I'm thinking about it. Today is the anniversary of being signed to them.
Stop, really?
November
That's
11th.
awesome. Well, 11/11. What
Yeah.
a date. That's awesome. Well, congrats. That's actually how we got connected. They're really awesome at obviously representing stellar talent. But yeah, that's very cool. Well, happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
That's awesome. Well, you've recently had a new single that's really taken off, and I want to kind of chat about that. Your new single, 66.
Mhm.
What's the story behind that song, and really, how does it represent you personally and creatively?
The story behind that really is just I was kind of just feeling like I needed a song that was like breaking out of the system, breaking out of the constructs of everything and just like jumping in your car and taking off. So 66 was like, that's the road you go down when you want to like clear your mind or just run
Mhm.
off into the world with nothing connected to you. I also wanted something that was going to be a bit more raw than our last EP. This is just a part of the next EP that's coming out, 66. So it will be on that next one. But yeah, that song just really was like about just being free, running off, doing your own thing, not telling anybody, just like taking off. Also, it kind of goes into like how my life is. Like, I don't know, like sometimes you're just like sleeping on the couch and you're just thinking up ideas or sleeping on the floor, like it's just that, like, not your typical day, not your typical life type of person. Like an artist's life, I guess you could really put it that way.
I love it. No, when you're just saying like it's a song where you just listen and you just hit the road, it literally gave me goosebumps because I can feel myself like, listening to that song, I can feel myself in that like in that exact moment of time of what it goes for. Yeah, when I turned it on, I was like, okay, this is good. I was like, damn, this is really good. So I was like, I'm super excited about this. So not only is it a kick-ass song, but it's actually gotten picked up as a main song for a documentary. Are we allowed to talk about that? And if so, let's kind of chat how all that happened. And obviously, congratulations on that. That's huge.
Yeah, that was a big surprise for me. And the great thing about it, it's women empowerment. It's about women motorcycle riders. They, it, it's, a lot of men get like, a lot of people think men are all about motorcycle riding and they forget that women ride motorcycles as well. And so this couple came up with a documentary, and started just, wanting to display what a woman's life is as a rider, what it's like to live that kind of lifestyle. And that documentary is called She Rides, and it will be out, I think, in the beginning of next year, like 2026. So they hit me up. They saw me on Instagram. They heard the song a few times, and then they got in contact with me because they're like, they loved the song. They're like, we want it for the entire documentary if we can help it. And I was like, yeah, let's talk and see what we can go with that. So
It, like, seriously, like, that song's, like, perfect. I
yeah,
personally don't ride, but if I did, it would most definitely be a song I'd be riding to.
yeah.
That's
And that
awesome.
song really is like, as a female, like getting up and just like, screw it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do what I want. And like no makeup on your face, like your hair's a mess. I want that freedom feeling for not just women, but like everyone,
Yeah.
that's what the song is about. So
Yeah, I love that too, and, like you said, everyone, but I feel like as women too, like, we're kind of there's a standard that we have to, be perfect, or our face has to do this, or, how many times we're just like, "You know what? Fuck it. I don't wanna be perfect today. I don't wanna even think about, putting my foundation on or contouring my face or doing any of this stuff." So I love it. No, we need more music like that. So thank you for publishing it.
oh yeah, absolutely. My pleasure.
So I want to go back to your sound because you do have a very unique sound. Maybe it could be described as, obviously you said punk earlier. So punk, even blending in some splash of pop melodies. How do you find that balance without losing that raw edge that defines a new Violet?
I think that the edge part of it comes from the attitude of the music, not so much the way it sounds. I was just as a person myself, like I'm very edgy. I've never really like colored inside the box. So when I write my music, it might sound a little poppy in some areas, but you can feel that edginess because I'm really like displaying that. That's just the personality that's coming through the music, I believe. It's um, just something that I carry with me in my music and when I write.
And your
So,
and I would say your style too, like even like your videos and stuff is just you could just feel it. And with, like, pop,
nice.
and it's not necessarily for those who haven't listened, I don't wanna deter you because 'cause don't worry, it's not gonna be like anything Taylor Swift sounding or anything like this, but when I say pop, it's almost like kind of like a catchy, like, "Damn, this is good," kind of vibe to it, so I love it.
Thank you.
So, let's talk a little bit. So, a couple years ago, your EP, "The Heat is Getting Hotter," carries a theme of growth and self-expression. How has your sound evolved? Because you did mention that this new track is a little bit more raw. How do you feel like your sound has evolved since that release?
I think that it's matured a lot. It's definitely a little more unfiltered in the way that I'm trying to. I'm writing more from experience or feeling than uh, like the heat is getting hotter. I felt as if maybe I held back a little more on that one. And that's also because I was like, no, this one has to be perfect. And, I
Mhm,
put a lot of um, thought into the production of it, and I wanted it to sound like something that maybe somebody would pick up and use for like they can use it in a shopping mall or a skating park or wherever. And I was kind of thinking along those lines as well. I wanted everybody to like it, kind of feeling,
mhm.
and for this EP, I'm really more on the feeling of like, I don't care really. I do want the audience to like it, but I'm going to be a little more free on the way that I speak or the words I put into the music.
I love that, and I think that's, like, a big thing. I mean, I'm no artist, you don't want this girl singing at all, but as far as, like, anybody starting anything, right? Like, you always wanna kind of you wanna think about the audience, of course, overall, but when it comes to new artists who are kind of feeling the same pressure, if you will, what advice would you give them so that, hey, in regards to, being unapologetically yourself?
What advice would I give them?
Yeah, what advice
Uh,
would you give them so that they don't feel like they're kind of like, "Oh, I have to be in this lone little box," but, that growth?
oh, honestly, I believe that if someone showcases really who they are as an artist, you're going to have so much more feedback from people, because it's that holding back, that actually holding back in what you're saying or writing, that holds you back from your, like, the fullness of yourself as an artist. So you're actually robbing the audience from your music, because you're thinking, oh, but I want it to be like this because of this or that, like consequences to why you're writing it a certain way. Like, let go of the consequences and the worries about what other people are going to think of it, because you might end up writing something so much better than if you had kept in the construct of that idea of what you thought other people wanted, or the fear of being yourself, you know what I mean? Like, fear of just being you, the artist, because there's so much pressure out there for people. And for personally, I love it when someone just like picks something up and puts some effects on it and creates with that. It's like, that was a genius, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I can totally see how that the pressure of that, especially in today's age. I'm all acting like I'm like 92 and I've seen everything, but
This
you know,
ancient
we live
time.
crossed mine 84 years ago or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I do feel like there is almost like you have to keep going. The next thing, trends, and it's hard. There has to be a lot of pressure in today's age because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of things you have to do to keep up or to keep standing out. So that's fantastic advice for sure. Now
Yeah, and
you
I'm like super behind on all the trends, and like, oh, you need to be posting this many times a day and you need to be doing this. And I'm like, I wish I had the time to do that, you know? There's not enough time in the day to continuously put stuff out, so I do it as much as I can. I'm like, that's what you're gonna get. Sorry.
get what you get. No,
Get what you
yeah, and
get. Yeah.
I think it's really cool because like, you know, of course it's like a catch 22, right? There's great things with all the new technology because I've spoke with artists before and they've gotten discovered just because they did a cover of a song on YouTube and that artist actually saw, or artist's wife had saw it, and like it was like this big thing, right? I also had guests on before that were like they went viral because of a TikTok soundbite. So there's so much out there, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure to kind of live up to that too, that discoverability. It's a
Yeah.
lot. Algorithms, who needs them? I miss
I know.
MySpace.
I'm so tired of the algorithms and the expectations for for musicians. It would be nice if it was. I mean, I understand people want to see your personality. They want to see what music you got out. They'll get tired if you're not continuously putting stuff out. But at the same time, the people that really love your music, they're gonna stick around. They're not going anywhere. So
100%. I think that ties back to like you had originally said, is like being yourself and staying true to who you are, because you are going to attract those people who like that versus trying to be for everybody where they say you're for nobody. So I love it. Look at us like giving some deep talks out in here in this podcast episode.
always.
So you have a lot of things going on, obviously the new single and things. This is teaser talk. So let's kind of tease listeners with some things that they can get excited about and look forward to. We don't give too much away, but what's on the horizon for you? What's next? Maybe some tours, some events, so on and so forth.
I know next year we have some shows booked, and like we have in the beginning of the year in January we got a few festivals we're doing, and then February we got some, and March we've got some. So we're actually ahead of the game. I'm usually not figuring stuff out until like a month or two before, but we're actually like really pushing to get on some great festivals and shows this year. You're going to see us mostly in Florida to start with, and then we're going to be looking into doing a tour, especially with that She Rides documentary, because they're going to be traveling too. They would like us to go with them to the events to promote the movie and perform at different places. So we're in the works for that right now. The details obviously are not in set, but that's good for teaser for you guys because we're just
That's it.
teasing stuff.
There's some
Yeah.
teasers and stuff. Yeah, that's incredible. Like to think about, like if someone was going to a movie premiere, and how cool is it to have the soundtrack of like, oh wait, you get to hear it live from the
Yeah.
band, hopefully from
Oh
the
yeah.
show.
I
That
know.
is
Actually, that I did not even think of it that way, but that makes it way more exciting. You're like, here's the movie and here's the band that
Mhm.
like you get to see them play live. I would be happy with that if I went.
See, like, yeah, I know I'm gonna be watching your guys' socials, waiting for those announcements because if you're near me, I am going to what am I talking about? I'll hop on an airplane. But
There
yeah,
we
like
go.
that is a very cool that's a very cool arrangement. I like it. Well, Beth, thank you so much for your time today. It was awesome chatting with you and getting to know you. And I'm super excited. Like I said, I adore your sound. I was like, damn, this girl is super talented. I cannot wait to talk to her. So thank you so much. And we'll definitely keep in touch because I want to have you back on after you do all these fun, exciting things we've been teasing about to catch up with you and see what's next.
That sounds great. Thanks so much for having me on today.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Teaser Talk. Head over to teasertalk.com to subscribe so you don't miss out on another episode. Until next week, keep rocking.